What's up, Wrestle Scope family? And hold on, because what I'm about to tell you is going to make your blood boil. Before we even get into this, I need you to understand something. What happened backstage at Smackdown wasn't just an attack. It wasn't just another wrestling angle. This was a statement. This was a line being crossed. And I'm telling you right now, if you're a Rhea Ripley fan, you're going to want to scream at your screen. Jade Cargill just did the unthinkable, and WWE is trying to sweep this under the rug like it's just another Monday, or should I say Friday. But we're not going to let that happen. We're going to expose exactly what went down, why this is absolutely disgusting, and what this means for the future of the women's division. So buckle up, hit that like button right now if you're already heated, and let's dive into the most controversial backstage assault. Hello viewers, if you're new here, please don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button for daily updates on WWE Raw. The shocking incident. Let me paint you a picture of what happened backstage at Smackdown, and I'm warning you, this is going to make you furious. Rhea Ripley, your women's world champion, the woman who has carried the entire women's division on her back for months, was minding her own business. She just finished an absolutely electric promo segment in the ring. The crowd was chanting her name. She was heading back through the gorilla position, still pumped up with adrenaline, when out of nowhere, like a coward in the shadows, Jade Cargill ambushed her. And I'm not talking about a little push or a shove. I'm talking about a vicious, calculated assault that left Rhea Ripley laid out on the concrete floor. According to multiple sources backstage, and yes, we have receipts, Jade was waiting behind a production crate. She had been lying in wait like a predator stalking its prey. The moment Rhea turned the corner, Jade exploded out of nowhere with a devastating clothesline that sent Ripley crashing into the equipment cases. But it didn't stop there. Oh, no. That was just the beginning of this assault. Jade proceeded to grab Rhea by her signature hair, the same hair that's become iconic in WWE, and slammed her face first into a metal road case. The sound, according to witnesses, echoed to the entire backstage area. Production staff froze. Crew members didn't know what to do. And where was security? Where were the officials? This wasn't a wrestling match. There were no referees. There were no rules. This was a mugging. This was a targeted hit job designed to injure and humiliate one of the biggest stars in WWE. Jade then hoisted Rhea up, and remember, Jade is that powerful, and delivered her signature jaded finisher right onto the unforgiving concrete floor. Not on a mat, not in a ring, on concrete. The camera crew that happened to be nearby caught glimpses of the aftermath, and let me tell you, it was brutal. Rhea was clutching her back, her face contorted in pain, as medical staff finally rushed to the scene. And Jade stood over her like some kind of conqueror, not even bothering to look back as she walked away with that smirk on her face. The backstory and build-up. Now, you might be asking, how did we get here? What led to this explosion of violence? And that's a great question, because WWE wants you to forget about the weeks of disrespect that led to this moment. Let's rewind the clock a bit. Jade Cargill made her WWE debut with massive fanfare. She came from AEW with a reputation as an unstoppable force, and WWE, specifically Triple H, gave her the red carpet treatment. She was positioned immediately as a dominant force in the women's division. But here's where things get interesting, and by interesting, I mean infuriating. From day one, Jade has been on a collision course with the established stars of WWE's women's roster. She's been cutting promos about how she's that bitch, how she's going to take over, how none of these women, including Rhea Ripley, are on her level. And at first, we all thought, okay, this is standard wrestling trash talk. This is how you build a character. But then things started getting personal. 3 weeks ago on Smackdown, Jade interrupted a backstage interview with Rhea. She got right in Ripley's face and told her that the Women's World Championship was temporary around her waist. Rhea, being the badass that she is, didn't back down. She told Jade that if she wanted a shot, she needed to earn it like everyone else. That's when Jade made a critical mistake. She disrespected Rhea's journey. She mocked Rhea's history in WWE, calling her yesterday's news and suggesting that Rhea was scared of real competition. And if you know anything about Rhea Ripley, you know that woman doesn't scare easily. The following week, we thought we were going to get an official match announcement. We thought Triple H and the creative team would do the right thing and set up a proper feud with a proper match at the next premium live event. But instead, what did we get? More mind games, more sneak attacks during matches. Jade cost Rhea a tag team match by causing a distraction at ringside. And then last week, Rhea finally had enough. She challenged Jade to face her at the upcoming Royal Rumble in a championship match. The crowd went insane. Social media exploded. This was the match we all wanted to see.
Jade accepted the challenge with that characteristic smirk, but she added one condition. She wanted one more message to send before their match. We all should have known what was coming. We should have known that Jade wasn't going to wait for the Royal Rumble to make her statement. Breaking down the assault. Let's talk about the mechanics of this assault, because this is where things get even more disturbing. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment situation. This wasn't two competitors getting into a scuffle because emotions ran high. This was premeditated. This was calculated, and that's what makes it so much worse. Think about it. Jade knew exactly where Rhea would be. She knew the route Rhea takes from the gorilla position back to the locker room. She had to have scouted this out, planned her position, and waited for the perfect moment to strike. This shows a level of malice that we rarely see in professional wrestling. The choice of weapons, and yes, I'm calling them weapons, was deliberate. The equipment cases, the road crates, the concrete floor, these aren't wrestling tools. These are instruments of injury. Jade specifically chose the hardest surfaces backstage to maximize the damage she could inflict on Rhea. And let's talk about that Jaded on the concrete. For those who don't know, the Jaded is already a devastating finisher in the ring. It's a lifting slam where the opponent is elevated and then driven down with maximum force. In the ring, there's at least some give from the canvas and the mat underneath, but on concrete, there's no protection, there's no cushion. That's the kind of move that can cause serious injuries, herniated discs, concussions, broken bones. Medical experts, yes, we consulted with actual sports medicine professionals, have told us that taking a move like that on concrete could potentially be career-ending. The impact on the spine alone could cause long-term damage that might never fully heal. But here's what really gets me fired up, the timing of this attack. Rhea is scheduled to defend her championship in just a few weeks. This attack could potentially derail one of the biggest matches of the year. Is that what Jade wanted? Does she want to win the championship by default because Rhea can't compete? Where's the honor in that? Where's the competition? Some people, and I've seen this in the comment section already, are trying to defend Jade. They're saying, this is just wrestling. This is how you build heat. This is how you create must-see TV. And to those people, I have one thing to say. There's a line. Yes, wrestling is about drama. Yes, it's about creating compelling storylines. But there's a difference between wrestling storytelling and legitimately trying to injure your opponent. There's a difference between a worked angle and a shoot that crosses into dangerous territory. The implications and fallout. Now let's talk about what this means for WWE, for the women's division, and for both of these competitors moving forward, because the implications here are massive. First, let's address the elephant in the room. Is Rhea Ripley going to be cleared to compete at the Royal Rumble? According to the latest reports, and these are coming in hot as we're recording this, Rhea underwent medical evaluation immediately after the attack. Rhea's medical team is being tight-lipped about her condition, which usually means it's more serious than they want to admit. If Rhea can't compete, we're looking at several scenarios, and none of them are good for the fans. Scenario 1, WWE strips Rhea of the championship due to injury and sets up a tournament or battle royal to crown a new champion. This would be an absolute travesty. Rhea hasn't lost that title in the ring. She hasn't been defeated. To take it away from her because of a cowardly backstage assault would be a slap in the face to everything she's accomplished. Scenario 2, WWE postpones the match and forces Jade to wait until Rhea is cleared. This means we don't get the match at Royal Rumble, one of the biggest shows of the year. We'd have to wait potentially months for the showdown. The momentum would be killed. And let's be honest, in today's wrestling climate with so much competition for viewers' attention, delaying a hot angle is dangerous. Scenario 3, and this is the one that terrifies me, WWE books the match anyway, but Rhea has to compete while not at 100%. This puts her at a massive disadvantage, and could lead to Jade winning the championship not because she's better, but because she injured her opponent beforehand. Is that the precedent we want to set in WWE? But beyond just these two competitors, think about what this does to the entire women's division. If Jade gets away with this, and by gets away with it, I mean if WWE doesn't hand down some serious consequences, what message does that send to every other woman on the roster? That you can bypass the rankings, bypass earning your opportunities, and just assault your way to the top? That violence outside of sanctioned matches is acceptable? What about the other contenders? What about women like Bianca Belair, who's been grinding and working her way back into championship contention? What about Bayley, who's been putting on clinic after clinic in the ring? What about the younger talent coming up through NXT who are watching this and learning what it takes to succeed in WWE? If Jade's tactics work, if she gets her championship match, if she ultimately wins the title, we're teaching the next generation of WWE superstars that shortcuts are acceptable, that you don't need to develop your skills, you don't need to pay your dues, you don't need to respect the business, you just need to be ruthless and violent. And let's talk about Triple H's role in all of this. The Game, our chief content officer, has been praised for his leadership of WWE's creative direction. He's brought back long-term storytelling, he's elevated the women's division, he's given us incredible matches and moments. But this requires a response. Triple H needs to come out on the next Smackdown and address this situation head on. He needs to either suspend Jade, fine her, or at the very least make her earn her championship opportunity through some kind of stipulation. You can't let the inmates run the asylum. You can't let talent think they can do whatever they want without consequences. Some of you might be thinking, but this is all a work, this is all scripted, why are you getting so heated? And yes, obviously this is a storyline, but the story matters, the message matters. Wrestling might be predetermined, but the stories we tell shape culture, influence fans, and set examples for millions of viewers worldwide. Social media eruption. Let me tell you, social media has been absolutely nuclear since this attack went down. Within minutes of the footage leaking online, hashtags like Justice for Rhea, Jade Goes Too Far, and Smackdown Assault were trending worldwide. And I mean top trending, not just in wrestling circles, but in mainstream social media. The WWE universe is divided right now, and it's creating some of the most heated debates I've seen in years. On one side, you have the Rhea Ripley supporters, and they are rightfully outraged. They're calling for Jade to be suspended, stripped of her championship opportunity, and possibly even fired from WWE. And honestly, I understand where they're coming from. If this happens,